most of the guys, you know poems as teachers,
And the whole class.
and in front of you, is too comical to present a poem and title. And now this guy is doing another level of poetry.
Spoken word.
He has a name that is poetry itself.
Okay, sawa, tosha. Talking stage. Bye. Wapigeni makofi ma MC. Years down the road, 50 years down the road, it's time we acted independent. In the words of MP Charles Dyken, I quote, "These people must learn submission by bullets alone. In Africa, to have peace, you must first teach obedience. And the only person that can teach this lesson properly is a sword," end quote. And with these and other statements, an adultery of violence ensued on our identity, our honor, our pride, as these people resisted in more ways than obedience. You see, Mau Mau was more than a rebellion. It was a culmination of the domino effect that set the tide rolling, and wave after wave after wave, we took back our land. But as the old words say, obedience is better than sacrifice. Yet sacrifice we did. The state of emergency, 1952, Chuka massacre, Hola massacre, Lari massacre, Operation Anvil, also known as the Nairobi Purge. The detention programs that were christened the British Gulag, where detainees were categorized as white, grey, and black. And woe unto you if you fell in the latter. Because torture would be your platter. Day and night, we'd hear the wails of our own in our land, and many times administered by our own. You see, 50 years ago, it wasn't of celebrations, anniversaries, and carnivals, but humiliation, funerals, and carnivores. Carnivores who fed on our lives, propagating their version of the truth. For example, did you know that Mau Mau was KLFA, Kenya Land and Freedom Army, but to deny the legitimacy they were called Mau Mau? And as a result, the fighters adopted Mau Mau to counter colonial propaganda. What of the detention camps that were too small for comfort, where 1,029,422 Africans were squeezed in only 7,114 square miles in Nyanza. And this was a trend all over, call it a retweet. And they wonder why we replied with hashtag over my dead body. Mekatilili wa Menza, Koitalel Arab Somoy, just to mention a few of our heroes from the north to the south, the lake to the coast. They posted their stand loud and clear, over my dead. You see, 50 years ago, our people chose to dream and a nation was born. Dreams of red, black, and green, and a republic was formed. Finally, the day had come when the soil under our feet was ours again, and men and women no longer slept in vain, but stood firm in attention to rebuild their hope, their faith, their love. A story so deeply rooted in miracle that the masses sang, "Oh God of all creation." You see, "50 years down the road, it's time we acted independent." You see, my grandfather, Elsafan Njora Kanyoro, the man who I'm named after, died in the war. He was a carpenter. But when Mau Mau came calling, he answered, and we have never seen him since. But if he were alive today, and he saw how the vultures are eating our young through corruption. I mean, we lose 300 billion every year. And how we are so proud to call ourselves Michael Jacqueline instead of Nyasukuta Akinyi Kamau. Because we are ashamed of our identity. This is what he would say. 50 years down the road, make it count. So 50 years down the road, here we are at 51, the new generation. Do you know what it's going to cost for us to make it count? It's going to cost us more than clever lines and rousing speeches, more than protest and civil disobedience, more than the long traffic jams, more than the long queues in the banks, more than songs and retweeted punchlines. To be that generation, to be that generation, we'll be pushed to limits we never knew existed. We'll be plunged into a darkness we never imagined possible. We'll have to expect the unexpected, face our insecurities, think beyond the normal, and still keeping our resolve. To be that generation is going to cost us blood and broken bones, and still we won't have cleared the debt. Hence we'll have to raise a new age generation to pick up what we picked up from those who are brave enough to have started this. Freedom is not a date that you mark on the calendar. Freedom is a constant battle, because the chains of this world are full of twists and trickery. Masks exchange from white to black, they smile while they seal our fates on the dotted line of slavery contracts, where the rich get richer and the poor get robbed of their power to reason. Reasons why we have seasons of passivity to elections, then violence, and then the so-called compromise. Now, I'm not saying we serve the world, it's already doomed. I'm just saying that we be here for those who are here with us for the time they are here with us, and make a difference today, step by step, so that the generations to come will have footprints to feel and follow, not broken promises to fulfill and sorrow. Thank you. My name is Safan Jora. I'm a spoken word artist and an actor. You may have seen me in a show called Briefcase Inc. Wangapi will watch Briefcase Inc? Yeah. I'm also in another show called Groove Theory, but that's not why I'm here. I was told to come here and do a poem on book smart versus street smart. But the reason why I did that poem, those are two poems put in one. The reason why I did that poem is because I believe as Kenyans we have to look forward to a better day. And not just look forward to it, but work towards it. Book smart versus street smart. Book smart versus street smart. You know, it's not uncommon to see a man or woman very successful, despite the fact that they don't have the papers or the so-called books. Instead, they attain their status by hard work, some luck, and favor. Well, the cliche is also true, that you just go through your books, you get your papers, you get a job, you work your way up, and then you define the rules. So which is better, book smart or street smart? In a world full of doors, and phrases like knock and the door shall be opened unto you. Opportunity knocks once in a lifetime. I was told that education is key. And so because I did not want to face the music of my parents or my my teachers, I played my chords right, but still could only manage a half measure in song. Because I realized that I still have to look for these doors while still figuring out this life. Confusing, right? Yeah? Confusing, right? Yes. I mean, that's the gospel they preached in primary and secondary school, that just get your books and then your degrees and then you're successful. The problem is this is such an acute way of summarizing success, because now that I know the right angles to success, I know it's not a one-way street, but it's a street full of bends and curves, straight lines and crooked paths. These streets will teach you that you are nobody until you are somebody. And even after all the success that you can achieve in this life, yesterday is gone and today is a new problem to solve, or another gift to unravel. Depends on how you look at it. Book smart? Which one do you think is better? Street? Book smart, street smart? Book smart, street smart? I can't hear you. So either way, you'll have to have so many tricks up your sleeve to survive the current. And especially if you decide to go against the current. What do I mean about go against the current? I'm talking about the people who want to push an idea, who want to lead a corporation, a community, a nation. People who want to invent or innovate. But don't worry, El Safan Jora came with solutions. I have 3 B's to success. Say 3 B's. 3 B's to success. Number 1, beauty. Number 2, booty. Number 3, brains. Yes, I said beauty, booty, and brains. Praise God. What do I mean by beauty? I'm talking about the wisdom to view life for what it is and accept it. Kuna watu wameanza kujipamba. Because you learn in this life that sometimes formulas contradict themselves. Booty, what am I talking about, booty? I'm talking about the spoils after every challenge. They say experience is the best teacher. It's time to start listening. Number 3, brains. Brains. This is the ability to figure out your next step, or somewhat. Because we don't always know what to do, right? But we can try. So, street smart, book smart. Street smart, book smart. Well, while you continue to figure out that, the pessimist will look at the glass of water as half empty. The optimist will look at it as the glass of water half full. The opportunist will take the glass and take a sip. I'll finish with the words of Amani Maranga. It's never either or, but and. Success will not come either through book smart or street smart. Success will come from book smart and street smart. Thank you.